Welcome. We're really excited to see so much interest in manga. My name is Mai. This is Jeannie and Karen. So who is Manga Start? Manga Start was founded in 2006. We're a group of US professional artists. We're all sharing the common background of traditionally trained artists, but we also practice the manga art in our profession, whether it's freelance or, in my case, I do it full time. We have been practicing collectively for over 10 years. We have published works with Antarctic Press, which is actually one of the first US comic companies to publish manga. We also have published works with Dark Horse and Marvel Comics. We're all college educated, and in our lesson plans we try to keep it fun. You know, the idea is to use manga as a hook and kind of use that to lead into the more traditional art lessons. So what is manga? You guys are all pretty familiar, so I'm going to just go over this very briefly. It's a Japanese word that literally translates into whimsical pictures. In the US, it's come to mean any comic that has originated from Japan. The stories tend to emphasize more on character. They emphasize more of a mood, expressions. There's also more of a focus on environments, and it's very much like film. As far as the role of manga in the professional industry right now, I want to talk a little bit about the beginning. I think about roughly 5 years ago, a company called Tokyo Pop got into the business of translating manga. And there was a huge influx of manga into the bookstores. So it actually has influenced the comic industry. A lot of artists start to pick it up. So you start to see a lot of professional works that have a bit of a hybrid of the Western style and also the manga style. When we were actually in school, a lot of teachers thought it was a fad. You know, they didn't quite understand it. But basically, we want to let you know that it's here to stay. You know, and there's definitely a growing need in the comic industry, cartooning industry, animation industry, and as well as advertising.
So I'm going to go over a little bit of history of manga, since art and history always go hand in hand. So the earliest beginnings of manga you can actually find in the 12th century in Japan through woodblock printing. I mean, I'm sure everyone's seen woodblock printing. One man's work in particular was Katsushika Hokusai, who was a very popular 19th century woodblock artist and printmaker. His work was very innovative for his time because he broke away from the typical content and subject matter that a lot of woodblock printing had in those times. He would not just draw like aristocrats or emperors and things like that, but he often produced work that had everyday activities, had people from all walks of life, animals and things like that. And actually the term manga was used back then, but manga in that time for him in particular meant he had a series of sketchbooks that had like everyday drawings and stuff, and that was the term manga then. Modern manga, however, it had its most advancement actually after World War II. So manga had about a 50, 60 year history where it really exploded during that time. After World War II, obviously, Japan was in utter turmoil, and the government was trying to build up its economy again and its structure. The people were very, very depressed. And comics during that time did exist, actually, obviously, and the government used comics to spread propaganda through newspapers and things like that. When there's struggle, artists rise above. And so during these turbulent times, artists were looking for a new way to express themselves and to express the things that were going on. And when they found manga, there was a huge art boom. And also during this time, Walt Disney Studios was becoming prominent, and they were creating very innovative, very creative work, creating characters that were extremely appealing, like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and things like that. And they were also producing very amazing films that were inspiring people all over the world. And one such man who was inspired by Disney was Osamu Tezuka. Have anyone heard of Osamu Tezuka? Kind of? Astro Boy? Astro Boy? Yeah. So Osamu Tezuka is pretty much known as the father of manga and anime. So he was a total fanatical Disney fan, and you can see some of his work here. He's well known for Astro Boy and then Kimba the White Lion. So a lot of his work was very progressive at this time because, like Disney, he really focused on expression and exaggeration and characters portraying emotion. So at 19 years old, he was actually a medical student before. He produced his first major work, which was Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. So he made a manga version of that. And the great thing is, despite the utter desolate and depressing times and the pretty much non-existent publishing industry in Japan after World War II, he sold 400,000 copies of that. And so after Osamu Tezuka and many others like him during those next 10, 15 years, they really caught on to manga, and it was a huge art boom, basically, and people accepted it as an art form.